Hi, everybody. This is Gad Sad. It's very tough to talk about because I just discovered some really horrifying data about the rampant sexism at American universities, and I wanted to share it with you because all those who are as feminist in their bent as I am and as progressive as I am would be appalled by these stats. Some of you might remember that a while ago I had shared some data, and I will put a link to both of these sad truth clips in the description section. Please watch them. I discussed about the rampant sexism in U.S. universities, where the U.S. government had come up with data showing that across associate's degrees, bachelor's degree, master's degree, and doctorates across five racial groups, so five racial groups by 4 degrees, they looked at the male to female ratio of people who graduate within that cell. So there were 20 cells, and in 20 out of 20 cells, women outnumbered men. So across every possible racial group and every single uh, degree level, women outnumber men. I also shared another clip from Canadian medical schools showing that women now outnumber quite substantially men at medical schools, amongst many, many other disciplines. But if that weren't enough data suggesting that we need more programs to help support women through the truly horrifying minefield of sexism that exists in universities today, here's some data that came out of the National Science for Education Statistics, NCES. So this is, and I'll put a link to this as well. It's table 318.3, bachelor's, master's, and doctor's degree conferred by post-secondary institutions by sex of student and across disciplines. But if you aggregate across all disciplines, at the bachelor's level of people who graduate with a bachelor's degree at U.S. institutions, let me just read you here because I calculated the percentages, 57.2% are women. So quite strong majority. 57.2% are women, meaning 43% are men. So that's a huge statistical difference. And then at the master's level, 59.2% of master's graduates are women, meaning 41% are men. I mean, wow, that's some real difficult minefields there. There definitely needs to be more programs to find a way to get more women to come to universities. They're being truly kept outside of the university settings. And then finally, at the doctorate level, of all people who graduate with doctorates, 52.7% are women. Still majority, but a smaller majority. So across bachelor's degree, master's degree, and doctorates, women outnumber men in many cases by quite a lot. It reminds me of that woman who wrote an article in the McGill Daily where she was a woman of color and she felt very threatened to go to McGill because of all of those white guys around. I mean, could you imagine the sexism at all these universities where women outnumber men now across every racial group and every single university educational level? They outnumber men, but there's still sexism because as long as the number of men at universities is not reduced to its truly justice level, which would be zero, until we get there, then the patriarchy is still at work. Until we make sure that the hallways have zero toxic masculinity, then we need to keep fighting because the future is female. We also have to be ensuring that no department anywhere. So, for example, even though I just showed you numbers that whereby women are outlandishly outnumbering men in university across all possible levels of education, if someone can come up with a department, for example, if the pure mathematics subfield in the math department at Princeton has more associate professors who are male than female, aha, that's where now the patriarchy has gone to hide. Sexism is bad. There was in the past institutionalized sexism against women. That narrative no longer applies. And holding on to a narrative that is now diametrically opposite to the reality in the field is an injury to truth and an injury to those who truly care about justice. Cheers, everybody.